got off a Teams call at work. I got a meeting invite this morning called Team Update. There was about 15 people on the call. Our VP just terminated.
Let me tell you about it. So, yesterday, I got off the clock, 5 p.m. And 45 minutes later, guess what? I get an email from HR, pretty much saying the whole team done.
Attention Walmart shoppers and associates. My name is Beth from Electronics. I've been working at Walmart for almost 5 years, and I can say that everyone here is overworked and underpaid. The attendant policy is bullshit.
My coworker get laid off was the day I stopped playing it safe at my old job.
Walmart workers are facing a wave of changes that few people expected. Today we're breaking down what's driving these job cuts, why they're happening so quickly, and what could come next. But first, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next update.
That's where the motherfuckers be at. I'm scrolling on my phone and they trying to chase somebody, like, grab him, he's stealing. Mind you, I was on my phone, so I'm not paying attention. So when I run out the store, I tackle the wrong person. I even went as far as pulling them back in the store because they told me, like, once they leave the store, it's over with. But I wanted that action, so I pulled him in the store by his collar. Bring your bitch ass in here. They like, no, that's the wrong person. It's too late. It's the dude in the yellow and running down a little parking lot. So I chase after him and shit. By the time I reached him, he hopped in his little hoopty cutlass and shit. He pulling out the parking spot. I start busting the car. Bang, 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 bang. He managed to escape, though. So by the time I get up to the front, the dude that I tackled, he trying to fight and shit. I showed him the burner and shit. Now he looking at my managers and shit. I'm like, dog, you wasn't looking at your managers when you was trying to fight me for doing my job? So my managers calmed me down and they come tell me the bad news. They was like, man, you wasn't even supposed to have a weapon. And then you tackled the wrong guy, man. He could potentially sue us. And then you putting our customers in danger. I'm sorry, man, this was a bad idea and shit. And I'm like, man, that's some bullshit, dog. So I ain't even gonna lie. I feel mistreated, man, and I feel like I didn't get a fair shake of the dice, man. But I'm gonna keep looking.
How I got fired from Walmart. Okay, so I used to be on third shift, and at this time of my life, I was pretty crazy. Like, I didn't have any kids. I was single. I was just living my life. And honestly, I was very wild. So I would drink like all the time. Again, I did have kids till I was in my 30s. And anywho, I got off work. I started drinking. I got off at 7:30 in the morning. I would drink with my friends. Needless to say, I never went to sleep that day. I went home and I just went to work drunk, okay? I broke like a whole case of pecani sauce. Like, they knew something was up. Well, we go to lunch. It's like 1 or 1:30. I get in my car. Mind you, it's cold outside. I turn the heat on and I lay the chair back. No one wakes me up. My alarm does not go off. I sleep from 1 to 8 in the car with it running and the heat on. I don't know how the damn thing didn't run out of gas, or I didn't die from carbon dioxide poisoning. Anywho, my friend knocks on the window and she says, hey, the boss just got here. I said, shit, I'm finna go. What is you talking about? I'm not going in. I didn't even clock out, bro. I didn't clock out. I got home. I go to sleep. I call them at like 4 o'clock that afternoon, and I was like, hey, am I fired? And they was like, who is this? I said, Megan. They said, oh yeah, baby, you fired. I was like, all right. Which I already knew. It's like sometimes when I get bored working somewhere, I would do things to get myself fired, that being one of them, which pushes me into better opportunities. Do I need to handle things like that? No, I don't, because how fucking dumb. I did get another job in a week. I did apply for unemployment and was approved, but I got a job in a week, so it really didn't matter. Yeah. That was not one of my finer moments. No judgment, please. I just thought it's funny 10 years later. I do not drink anymore. P.S. Obviously, because I don't know how to handle myself.
Got laid off. Let me tell you about it. So, yesterday, I got off the clock, 5 p.m. And 45 minutes later, guess what? I get an email from HR, pretty much saying the whole team done, gone, effective immediately. yeah, I got let go, guys, from my job, and I'm going to take a shot and try to stream full-time. Ever assigned to take a shot on my dreams, I think this is one of them. So if you want to help a girl out, I'll be streaming on Twitch. You can find me at Lumi, and I'm most likely streaming right now, so I'll see you there. Bye.
Yesterday, I was laid off from my job, so here's a little story time. The biggest question, like, my friends and family have even been asking is, did you expect this? And honestly, no, I didn't see it coming, but looking back now, I can kind of see some things were weird. I feel like some people on my team, management, had been like a little bit distant, and honestly now I can see that they were maybe like kind of avoiding me. It was the usual, thought I was going into my one-on-one. I actually was like a couple minutes late. I walk in like Starbucks in hand, and obviously as soon as you see someone from HR there, like you kind of know what's happening. My first time ever being let go from a job. I've always quit any of my corporate, or like even before when I did like part-time jobs, like I've literally never been let go, fired, like anything of that. I think at first it is a bit of like a hit to the ego, but honestly, maybe hot take, but like I actually think this is for the best. If you know me, or if you've been following me, you maybe know that I have not really been super happy with work, and I've been feeling like really unsatisfied, and I was like, I don't know what I should be doing. I did feel kind of stuck in my career. Maybe it will hit me later, maybe I'm still in shock, but like I feel good about this. And like the witchy part of me is like, it's Lionsgate portal, better things are coming. I know the job market is really tough, and even on my last video, a lot of people posted saying they're getting layoffs, and hopefully your packages were decent. I'm definitely gonna take some time to just like chill and enjoy summer. But yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to this new chapter. I'm definitely gonna be vlogging things I do. I have a social club, obviously I do content, so I have things to be doing still, and now I have like even more time to be working on those. But yeah, follow along if you want to see what unemployment life brings me.
I just got laid off 2 weeks ago, and somehow this has been one of the best things that happened to me in 2026. Hi, I'm Eluz. I'm 33 years old, and I received an email saying that my position was getting eliminated the day before that I was supposed to go out on PTO. And if that wasn't enough, it's been 2 months since my fiance also got laid off from his current full-time job. I know this sounds very scary, but I feel like this is the push that I really needed in order for me to be able to create something for myself. All that I was holding before was very mentally draining, a lot of changes happening in the organization that really did not allow me to focus on the things that really mattered to me. Instead of letting this situation define me, I decided to start documenting it online. I have no idea where this journey is going to take me, but I would love for you all to come with me.
A worker get laid off was the day I stopped playing it safe at my old job. I remember I used to just sit at my desk, genuinely staring at the screen thinking, all right, I'm doing everything right. I'm doing more than I have to. I'm staying late. I'm working hard, and I still felt like I was getting nowhere. And in reality, it wasn't because I had a bad job, it was just because none of it was actually mine. My raise was someone else's decision that apparently was always a budget issue. My day off was always someone else's approval, which always irritated me. And realizing that my whole entire financial life was just one bad quarter away from just being fired. And then when I watched this coworker just get walked out like that, the scariest part wasn't even that that happened to her. It was that I realized she had already been talking about starting something for the last 2 years and never did. For the last 2 years, it was always, oh, maybe when I save more money, or maybe when things settle down a bit. And the layoff didn't really take her security away. It just confirmed to her that the security was actually never there from the start. And I literally did the same thing, always working retail, restaurants, administration, even corporate, and still never actually building anything. And then always trying to just wait for the right moment that will never ever come on its own. The thing that actually moved me forward was not even motivation, it was actually fear. And it was like a quiet fear that I'm like,
Last week, I got laid off. I went from making 6 figures at my marketing job to now making $0. When I did my get ready with me last week saying that I was getting ready to be laid off, I did not expect all of the support and stories that you guys have been sharing. And so for that, thank you. Chad and I have taken the last week to be thinking about what this next step in our life looks like. I'm excited and also very nervous to say that we are going to go into content creation full time. It feels really crazy to be saying that. I've been wanting this for a really long time. So I'm going to make this into a series, but this is part 1 of becoming a full-time content creator. I'm going to share with you my journey, my ins and my outs, my success and my failures. I feel like having a space to be able to talk about it will be really helpful for me. I think it's going to be helpful for others that are maybe thinking about going on this journey on their own. And then quite frankly, I'm really nosy. And so I'm assuming you are too. So today we're going to talk about how we made our decision, the things that sat really heavy on us, also the things that are really scary for me. This one I feel like is probably my personal biggest is we're trying to have another baby. We have shared that Evelyn is a bonus baby. And while we absolutely love her dearly, when I found out I was pregnant with her, I had just started a new job the April before. That was really hard to be at a new job and 3 months in telling my employer that I'm pregnant. I absolutely do not want to do that again. We're gonna give ourselves 6 to 12-ish months to figure out if we can grow this thing the way that we want, replace my salary doing content. I feel like that timing matches up perfectly. All that being said, on top of that, even if I wanted to go back into corporate right now, the job market is terrible. I've been in marketing for 13 years. I feel like the salary and the positions that I would be looking for, it would take me a while to find a new job anyways. I've spent a lot of years pouring the best of myself and the best of my ideas and strategies into other businesses. And I feel like right now, why not put that work and energy into myself? Which leads me into my next point is that we are already growing and we could not thank you guys enough. You guys are really making this so that we can even explore this as an option. We are growing, we are making money, we're getting brand deals. I was doing that working 2 full-time jobs on top of raising kids. I know in my heart that if I didn't explore this, this would be my biggest what if. Now that I'm in my 40s, I do not want to look back at things in my life and feel like, what if you would have, should have, could have? I can't give that advice to my kids without doing that for myself. And so all that to say, I'm really excited, but I'm also really scared. There's so many amazing creators out there that I know that you guys already love and follow. It doesn't scare me enough to not do it. It is still really scary to know that you can do all the things right and still not get where you want, because that's the name of the game with social. That I feel like it's 80% hard work and knowing what you're doing and like 20% luck. That 20% could really be the spot that just holds you back. It's also really scary that we are coming up into and have been in the most expensive time in our life. Landon's getting ready to graduate. He's going to probably go off to college. We have house projects around here that we want to get done. We're trying to have another baby. It is going to be so expensive. And to think that I just lost a 6-figure salary makes me want to puke. I'm also really stubborn and goal driven. And so when I have something that I know I want, I'm going to go get it. I've got a number and this is the number I'm going to go hit. So even though I'm really goal driven and I know where I want to get, it's a lot of pressure that is, I feel like, on my back. So that's it. That's my update you guys have all been asking for. I would love for you to follow along as we go through this journey. I'll come back for part 2 where I'm going to share my salary. And what better way to share this journey than to show you what I'm up against. I'm going to break down my salary. I'm going to break down the bonus that I had. I'm also going to break down what does that mean month to month and whether I'm going to hit my goals. I'm really excited to go into this next phase of my life and see what it can provide for my family.
So I just got laid off at my job. And if you don't know, I worked at Complex. I was a literal creator and host for them and basically was their face of pop and internet culture. That's literally what my title was. Pop and internet culture content creator and host. And y'all, I literally just got the call an hour ago. So I have a lot of thoughts, but I just want to first and foremost say, like, this past year and 4 months, I don't even know how long it's been, but my time there has really just developed me as a journalist. And I got to work with some of the most brilliant creatives. Like, I think what's like hitting me right now immediately and first is like, damn, I had some really dope ass coworkers. Like, and I also got to work with some really, really just amazing and hustling and brilliant, talented Black creatives too. Like, in regards to like in-person, because I've worked at Black media outlets in the past, being able to work with like Black creatives hand in hand, that was such a beautiful experience for me to be able to have. I will say that Complex gave me opportunities that I would have never been able to get by myself, but also to other companies had not given me in the past. Complex really like allowed me to speak to talent. And in the past, I've dealt with companies who didn't even want me to talk to talent, right? I have a lot of thoughts, but I'm definitely like going to miss crazy enough to say this, I'm gonna miss walking into that office on 5 days a week. Yeah, there's a lot, and I will talk more about like everything as things go into next steps, but I just wanted to let you all know first what the deal is, and thank you to Netflix, thank you to A24 and all these companies that always wanted to work with me, and Universal, NBC Universal, excuse me, like, thank you so much for always presenting me these amazing opportunities. And also, just to be clear, I am open for work. So if y'all see any hosting, any anchoring positions open, please let me know. Send them my way. I will keep you all posted for next steps, but I just wanted to let you know from the horse's mouth first, that I got laid off, but we are on to bigger and better, because you always gonna elevate. I'm always gonna elevate, period. All right, as always, thanks for watching. Mommy Tip out.
Just walked out of my job at Walmart, and I've never felt so freaking freed in my whole life. I didn't have the guts to do it. I wanted to work 2 jobs, be able to save money. I didn't think I was going to find another job that I'd be able to work with this type of schedule. It comes down to my mental health. I have to prioritize that. I have kept quiet for a very long time because I worked under the company, and there are certain things I could and couldn't say if I didn't want to risk termination. But now that I, have quit the job, I can speak freely and speak my mind. There's going to be a lot of chismosas that are going to talk about me after this video. I'm sure of it. That's another reason why I quit. I know I publicly post my life out there on social media, but there's a lot of associates at my workplace that used to talk about me all the time, make fun of my videos, or send them to their group chats. People that are team leads, you know who you are, that send around my video because you guys have nothing better to do, just making fun of my video because I post content on social media. Made fun of for it just because they're jealous and, spiteful of me for no reason, right? Second point, because there's a lot of favoritism that goes on in the front end that a lot of you guys know, a lot that I would do and have to do the shitty jobs because their homies don't have to do it since they're friends with the manager. I'm a very hard worker. I always show up on time. I'm never late, and I don't call out, rarely. I literally will come in sick, and that's the type of worker I am. I'm just a very hard worker. I also get pulled into the office, but the team leads aren't able to coach me because there's nothing to literally coach me on, but they will bring me to the office and tell me, oh, you have to do this task because it's part of your job duty as being part of the front end. But they don't tell that to any other associate, and they only make me do that job. How about you preach that to all the other associates that you don't make do that one particular job, even though it's their job duty too, because they're a front-end associate. But no, they'll only pull me into the office and tell me that it's my job duty, and if I want to do otherwise, I need to get an accommodation letter and all that type of stuff. Which is so ironic because the people that pull me into the office are the same people that had a group chat about me to make fun of me and my TikToks. Crazy. The ones that have power are also the ones that are abusing it because they know they can. There were so many days that I cried because it was just so much, and I was putting up with the worst things. That being said, I'm just very thankful that I left that toxic job, and I have nothing against my coach. Actually, I have a lot of respect for my coach, but not for those team leads, and that's all I have to say.
I was laid off in April, and I'm finally ready to talk about it. I was one of 16,000 people notified of this company-wide workforce reduction, and it really hurt because this was my first big girl corporate job. I was there for 4.5 years, and I put so much of myself into my work. I was notified in January, and I had until April before my official separation. In the beginning, I took the break because I was burnt out, but as my separation date got closer, I started panicking. I reached out to hiring managers, I sent emails. I probably could have done a little more, but I was low-key over it. Part of me knew that my time there was up. But what hit me the most was that I felt shy about my situation. And I had to ask myself, why? Why would I feel shame over a corporation's decision? They decided to let go of thousands of people. That's on them, not a reflection of me or my work ethic. And as far as layoffs go, mine was relatively favorable. I got paid through 3 months. I got severance. Praise God for that. So the shame wasn't really about the situation. It was more so about how I felt other people see me. I've always been a high achiever, a high accomplisher, someone people could look up to. So my brain immediately went, what then can people look up to? But I had to check myself because I've said it before and I'll say it again. My identity is not in my accomplishments. It's not in whether or not I'm working for the biggest e-commerce company in the world. That company is not the source of my provision. My whole life has been a testimony. All the things I've been able to do were never me. So it would be unwise for me to sit here and wallow thinking that a company was the answer. Did they keep me through all the things I've walked through over these years? No, they didn't. God did. They don't feed me. God does. So I'm not about to hand a corporation credit for something that belongs to the creator. I have so much more to say about this layoff, so stay tuned for part 2.
Finally happened, chat. Your boy got fired. Alright, what up? Yeah, it's true. The rumors are true. The headlines are true. CNN been talking about it. Jimmy Fallon mentioned it a couple times. Shoot, I haven't even heard the president say something about it, but you know, it is what it is, you feel me? But yeah, your boy got fired. Crazy world we live in. I'm gonna get down to the bottom of why I got fired. Not in this video. Next video, low-key. But I just wanted to let y'all know, yeah, it did happen. I got fired. So I know everyone's probably sad. So it's a common thing with a big event like this. You know, I'm just here to tell you, like, everything will be fine. Keep your heads up. I want you to keep your heads up. I want you to move forward. Don't stress about it too much. We gonna figure something out. We gonna make it. I'm from the trenches, you know, we gonna make it. We always figure something out when you're in the trenches. So yeah, just letting you know the rumors are true. Your boy got fired from Walmart. Right now I heard Walmart is failing. Wonder why, but yeah. But stay tuned. I'm gonna break down what happened. All right, peace.
Ah, yes. Sorry, I keep forgetting to make this video. So for like an entire summer, I was on a personal mission to see how much shit I could get away with while wearing this yellow high-vis vest. Let's see, Walmart, Sam's Club, Costco, tried the Sedgwick County Zoo. They didn't care that I was wearing a yellow vest. I still had to pay my like $12 to get in. Target, they didn't give a damn. They were like, excuse me, sir, you can't go back there. That's for employees only. So I walked into one of the Walmarts around here. And a lady in the yellow cloth vest, so she's part of the management team, she sees me and she goes, did you get all the carts from whatever? And I said, fuck those carts. She says, excuse me? I said, are you rounding up carts? Have a nice day. And I kept on walking. About 10 minutes later, she tracks me down with the manager in his khakis and polo shirt, who then drags me into the office to give me an ass chewing and fire me before he realized I don't work there. Attention to detail, stupid.
So when a parent passes away or immediate family member passes away, your bereavement days start immediately. So I had 3 days from the day that I went home and saw my mother deceased, to use my bereavement days. So 3 days later, I know I shouldn't have gone back to work, but I did because I didn't have another job and I didn't have any prospects for another job. So I went back, and I have a manager that actually does have a heart, and he told me to go back home. He told me to go back home until after the funeral, right? But prior to that, on the second bereavement day that I had, this lady Tracy calls me at home on my cell phone. Meanwhile, my family's just arriving. Everybody's still crying. We still trying to figure out what to eat. We ain't ate, you know. She calls me and she says, hey, you need to bring evidence up here that that's your mother that passed away or you're fired. I know people lie about crazy stuff, but why would I lie about my mother dying? Why would I even put that on a parent or a family member? Like, unless I hated them. Like, that was terrible. Completely out of line. I said, okay, and I was trying to explain to her, like, it's only been like 48 hours. Insurance ain't even paid out yet. We don't have no death certificate. They still trying to do an autopsy, like, all that. And she was like, I don't care. Bring me documentation saying that's your mother that passed away or you're fired. So I went back to work after them 3 funky days, which are completely unfair. As you can tell, as you can see. Completely unfair. Management gets up to a month to 3 months off if a parent passes away, but cashier or overnight stocker, we only get 3 funky ass days. So when I got back to work after that 3rd day, like I said, I had a manager that had a heart and sent me back home and told me not to come back until after the funeral. So the funeral was that next weekend, so I did not come back to work until like literally the day after the funeral. So I came back the day after the funeral, and I brought the obituary, and I was like, I don't know, like, this is the only proof I have. We still don't even have a death certificate. Because, you know, for some reason, you get all this life insurance on your family member, and they don't want to pay out for whatever reason. Either way, it took a while for us to get the check, X, Y, and Z. Luckily, it was a family the funeral home that took care of my mother, they also took care of the rest of her side of the family, so they understood what was going on. So I bring the obituary back and I give it to my manager. It wasn't Tracy, but Tracy did catch wind of it, and she sees it and she goes, "Oh, okay." Once again, I guess she didn't believe that that was my mother. Once again, I felt the need to preface at the beginning that I was a good employee. I did not have a track record of doing crazy shit, always late, none of that. Not really calling in. I only called in if I was actually sick, and even then, I can count on my hand how many times I actually called in. But in true Tracy fashion, she found a reason to hate me. So, I think it's like 2 or 3 days later, she calls me in the back office. Mind you, I worked the entire shift. She calls me in the back at literally like 6:40. She sits me down with the other manager that told me to stay at home until the funeral was over and says, "We don't feel like you fit into Walmart's new changes, so you're gonna have to give us your discount card and your vest and your badge, and you're gonna have to leave, or you're fired."
Queer cis woman was fired this week after a cis man mistakenly took her for a trans woman and started berating her in the bathroom. That cis man entered the women's bathroom saying that he would beat her up. This happened on March 14th, and the following week, Walmart fired her, stating that it was a security risk. This is what transphobia does. It not only affects trans women, but it will affect, and it does affect, cis women too, who don't fit the mold. And of course, the real danger here is that cis man who was entering the women's bathroom to try and beat a woman up because he assumed she was trans. Again, that is insanity. And again, even if she was trans, this is insane. This guy should have a police report against and be monitored for violent behavior against trans people and queer people and women. The woman who was fired from Walmart tried to appeal to Walmart for her firing, but it was denied. It was not until it got national attention and online attention that Walmart tried to backtrack and say that they want their employees to feel safe. But clearly not, because you clearly refused her appeal and fired her even though she was not at fault. Even if she was trans, this is the fault of the cis bigot. But this story is unsurprising, and it shows the damage of transphobia and how companies are feckless and spineless when it comes to bigotry and protecting their employees.